Hello and thank you for joining us on the midweek edition of Journalists Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozugbakun. Today on the program, Lagos, Kaduna order continued lockdown of worship centers as Nigeria record new coronavirus cases and more deaths. Uneasy calm, petitions at the National Assembly over alleged ploy to extend tenure of Clerk, 150 other staff due for retirement. NLC raises alarm over killings in northern Nigeria as bandits, herdsmen, kill more than 100 persons in Sokoto, Katsina and Kaduna just in 5 days. And later on the show, Journalists Hangout Midweek Special focuses on the predicament of the traffic wardens who complain of marginalisation by police hierarchy. I'll be hanging out with Babajide, Kolade-Otitoju and Yomi, Owope. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Before joining us again, now different strokes they say for different folks. This appears to be the situation in Lagos State, southwest Nigeria, and Kaduna State in northwest regarding the fight against COVID-19. While the federal government, through the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, has advised ease of lockdown on worship centers, both states thought otherwise. As Lagos continues to be the epicenter of the pandemic in the country, with more cases and Kaduna yet to halt spread of the virus, the governors have ordered for continued lockdown of churches and mosques in their states. Prevention should be better than cure. Babajide, when we entered the studio yesterday, we gathered that the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 actually gave a kind of all clear to churches to start and give conditions. And part of the conditions, some were even saying that one of the conditions that we are not meant to spend more than 1 hour, keep the distance protocols, all the protocols for COVID-19. Now, social distance. What we have here now is Babajide Sanwo-Olu and NASS are saying, not yet, guys, that we'll still have 1 or 2 things we want to put in place. Let me say Lagos as a case study. It's almost like 3 months or 4 months that churches have been under lock and key in Lagos, and Christians are not finding it fun again. Even religious leaders are not finding it funny again. And they want to meet the demand and look at the demand of the state government so that they can go back to worshiping God on Sunday, regularly Sunday worship and their midweek services.
Well, it doesn't matter whether they find it funny or they find it not funny. What matters is doing the right thing. And the right thing is to avoid huge crowd at this time. Our country is not the only country where this kind of steps have been taken. Even in that part of the world that gave us the 2 major religions, the Middle East, these steps have been taken. In countries that we all know are the custodians of the major religions, these steps have been taken. There's no need for anyone to pile indecent pressure on the government, pushing the government to take steps, the kind of steps that the Brazilians took and they are regretting now. There's no need for this indecent haste. So the truth is, in the case of Kaduna, I like the way the governor has taken. He said that why are people, in any case, Nigerians are misconstruing what the PTF guy said. He said, we are going to leave that to the states. They didn't take the decision on their own to say, oh yeah, open churches and mosques. They said, we are going to leave the decision to the states to take. And now the Kaduna people are saying that the federal government did not list Kaduna as 2 of the states and FCT where it imposed lockdown. Kaduna State imposed lockdown by itself. Federal government did not impose it. So even if the federal government took a decision to say, yeah, in places where we impose lockdown, go ahead, go to church, begin to hold your hands and all that, it does not apply to Kaduna because
Lagos, Ogun, and
because Kaduna, the lockdown in Kaduna was imposed by the state government, and it is not incumbent on the state government to take a directive in that regard from the federal government. So they are saying that they have already begun their process of engaging business owners, engaging church leaders, and even Islamic clerics. And at the appropriate time, since recommendations are being made, they will decide when it is safe to let people worship, let people congregate. Because I don't see, when we talk about it, they say don't compare us with the UK. Oh, so I should close my mouth and watch people die, like 30,000 people should die in Nigeria the way they died in the UK? No, this is a dangerous disease that we are dealing with. A lot of people who have died in Nigeria, they've not been recorded as having died from COVID-19. But we know that some of them have died from COVID-19. This is a fact, including big men who refuse to go to the isolation centers. Some of them have died. But there are not many people just die and then we keep quiet. The same way we screw up the matter of keeping record in our country, we can't even keep the record of people who are dead from this disease. So
you don't have.
Sanwo-Olu and El-Rufai don't have to put themselves under pressure. When some governors put themselves under pressure and they were opening mosques in northern Nigeria, El-Rufai reinforced security at those mosques. You cannot have the Fitri day prayers. As far as he's concerned, he's doing the right thing. And he has confessed that, look, I went through this ailment, and I'm lucky to be alive. And I know that even some of the people who work for him, I know some of them closely, they also came down from the ailment. So people who went through it and are lucky to be alive, do we then expect them to take the disease with levity? No. They will not take the disease with levity the way some ignorant Nigerians are taking it and imagining that it does not exist because it has not killed someone in their household. So this is the thing. Sanwo-Olu has engaged, is engaging clerics and the rest of them. And some of those clerics are saying, look, I'm an Islamic cleric. I stand in front of the mosque to lead people in prayers. I cannot determine how many people are behind me. So if the people behind me suddenly become a crowd, I can't be responsible for that. So they have to then agree, okay, how do we do it in a manner that does not jeopardize the lives of our people? So this is the situation now. People need to be patient with government. When government fails, we are usually the ones who criticize them, who say this government, they are good for nothing. Yet the measures that they want to take to save lives, we want to apply pressure on them until they buckle up. It's not right.
I mean, some leaders, some church leaders, they're arguing that there's even a kind of intervention, spiritual intervention in each, when they gather in churches on Sunday with their regular weekly worship, that it will play a big role in this whole pandemic thing.
Well, I don't know about well, that aspect of the spiritual intervention with regards to that, because I know a lot of the churches have been praying at home with a lot of their members using technology and all of that. So that is ongoing and can be done from anywhere. But with regards to wanting to meet and come together like that, I think this ongoing discussion with the government is what's the most important thing, so that when they can fashion out the proper guidelines, then you can then have a phased easing of meeting in the churches and not just opening the churches. Now, with the more organized and the bigger churches, it might be easier than the smaller community churches where it becomes free for all. Anybody can go to church and then you have large crowds there. So I think that's where probably the fears are larger in the inner streets, the churches where you have probably 100 people or 200 people and nobody monitoring. But, you know, with the bigger churches, I think they have a proper structure in place and they have different groups that can say, okay, only 50 come to church for 1 hour and things like that. So I think this discussion is what should be ongoing at this time, so that by the time they're ready to, maybe in the next few weeks, to come together as different congregations, then it's easier for these crowds to be managed. I think, but the concerns are valid concerns, especially at the level of government. In Lagos State, for instance, you know, I mean, the crowds are very large. So whether for churches and even for mosques, you know, when you see them on Fridays and on Sundays, these are large groups of people going for worship. So those the modalities should be put in place. The fashioning out those guidelines are very, very critical over the next few weeks.
Julie, on a final note, eventually, though we have to open these churches, they can't keep them closed in perpetuity.
No, nobody is saying they should keep them closed in perpetuity. What we are saying is that we are reasonable people. When we can see that this step is meant to save lives, it is people who are alive who can serve God. Only those who are alive can serve God. There's even a song that Christians sing, that those who are in the grave, it is the one who is alive that can praise God. Those who are gone, felled by COVID-19, are not in position to praise God. So this is the thing. Government has to do what is right. Nobody is saying they will leave it closed in perpetuity, but they have to do what is right. COVID-19 has no business with emotions. It takes people's lives without caring about their emotions. So this is the thing. And the government, true leaders that deserve to be respected, they do not buckle under pressure. They do what is right without minding whose ox is God.
All right, so moving to the next topic now. One cardinal rule in sports is that you don't change the rule in the middle of the game. Hence, implementation of a revised condition for service for staff of the National Assembly and those of the State House of Assembly is causing ripples. There is uneasy calm at the National Assembly over alleged ploy by the clerk, Mohammed Sani Omolori, to use the revised condition of service to extend his tenure and that of 150 senior staff who are due for retirement. Many petitions by different groups are flowing in, while factions for and against over it have emerged. What's this about? We thought this should be a civil service rule. There's a standard rule that guides once you spend 35 years in service or once you're 60, you go.
Yeah, but what is going on now is that in cahoots with the leadership of the National Assembly, the 8th Assembly.
8 or 9?
8.
Okay.
The process began
okay.
With the 8th Assembly, and some of the leading lights of the current National Assembly.
Yes.
They were there when that decision.
Yes.
They were there when that decision was taken. They cannot exonerate themselves from the collective action that was taken. But the truth is, people like Mohammed Sani Omolori, who joined the civil service in 1985 at Ajakuta Steel Complex, and then moved from there to join the National Assembly as principal legal officer in 1991. He is due to go home and rest. In February 2020, he should have left. He should have retired. Yes.
And this is...
He should have retired. Yes, there was a bill seeking to amend the rule and give them more time. Where the rule says, okay, you spent 35 years in service, they were trying to amend it to 40 years. They were trying to, where you are supposed to live once you are 60 years of age, they were trying to get the rule changed so that they can stay till they are 65. But that had not become law. The president was yet to give his assent. Yes, it was there. The amendment, the paperwork, everything had been done. But it is not due for implementation because the president's assent had not been secured. You understand? The legislature cannot constitute both they cannot arrogate to itself executive and legislative functions. So this is the situation that we found ourselves. And people are saying, why should the National Assembly leadership begin implementing an amendment that was sought, that had not even been secured? So it's illegal. We are a country where people break rules, just like breathing in and breathing out. We are so used to breaking rules. At this time, it is not a law. It is illegal to implement it, but it's already been implemented because Omolori should have retired to Okene as we speak.
That's part of the problem we have in Nigeria.
It's definitely.
People, civil servants especially, they get into public offices, they adjust their age, and new people are meant to retire. They don't want to go. They hang on there.
Others from growing.
It's incredible what happens in Nigeria. I mean, it's very clear what the civil service
I thought people
rules
used to look forward to their retirement, and
it's actually very clear what the civil service rule says, and I just want to read it very quickly. It says, no officer shall be allowed to remain in service after attaining retirement age of 60 or 35 years of pensionable service. That means you are ready to retire, to go home and rest, and that you'll be paid until the day you move. Or you know, so you have all your entitlements. You've done your 35 years. But it's only in Nigeria where you see somebody who not only has falsified his age, and he probably is now retiring instead of at 60, the real age of maybe 65 or 68. But now you have this situation where, you know, even the constitution is now being manipulated to perpetuate certain people in office for another 5 years. It smacks of abuse of due process, abuse of the rule of law. I mean, this is the kind of thing where you don't even want other people who are coming up in the system to get the opportunity that you have gotten. Because it was the system that gave you that opportunity, or somebody else that retired or that moved on that enabled you to be able to take office. Now you have gotten there, you want to perpetuate yourself there and continue in office based on what we don't even know. Because at this point, it's almost like, let's just sit here and just be in office forever. That's what it's looking like.
Babajide, I don't know, maybe the National Assembly Commission is under, I don't know how the bureaucracy works, is under the head of service or SGF. Because somebody should do something about this. Somebody should look into this case, this petition against Mr. Omolori.
And the rest of them, not just even the secretary of the National Assembly Commission. You know, there are 3 of them. There are about 150 of them who are due to go.
I don't want to sit down. Instead of new people to just...
It's just similar to what PAMSEX. They call them PAMSEX. They are not supposed to be permanent in that position. And then they remain there on PAMSEX more than 10 years. They are PAMSEX. They are not allowing directors to grow. And that is the essence of that, the civil service reform carried out. I mean, the document that Oronsaye put together. Yes. Because
I don't know who is afraid of that document.
PAMSEX, I'm happy that the president has taken steps now to implement the thing. PAMSEX, based on that report, PAMSEX are now to be tenured. So that you don't stunt the growth of other people. Those directors cannot move. Some of them will retire as director because the person ahead of them simply will not go because they call him PAMSEC. And he wants to remain there permanently as if it's his family's inheritance. So this is the thing. Oronsaye has recommended that it should be tenured. And that's the source of the problem that the man had. You know, I said on this program that the Oronsaye I know is not corrupt. They took him to court, they lied against him. But when they got to court, they could not prove the case. They said, oh, the house that he had in Abuja is a product of corruption. Oronsaye presented evidence that Union Homes had been deducting from his salary for years, about 5 years or so, for him to pay for that house.
Mortgage facility.
And that's the only evidence that they had. In the end, his lawyer filed a case of no submission.
No case submission.
No case submission. Filed a no case submission. And the judge allowed it. I'm not aware that they've mustered the courage to appeal since then. Because they don't have evidence. When you move against the people who hold our country by the jugular, there's nothing they can't do to you. They will take you to court. They will embarrass you. They will lie against you. They will say you are a thief like them. So this is what is happening in our country. The truth is, the law has not been. I'm not saying they can amend. After all, judges, all categories of judges were not
But
staying
not
beyond
necessarily,
65.
they might not be the one to benefit from the amendment. It might just start from the next set.
No, but usually they think of themselves before coming
Before
to government.
amendment.
So they do not want to do it for the people behind
Oh,
them.
man.
It's being
Nigeria.
implemented now because February 2020, Omolori should have gone home to go and enjoy the company of his grandchildren.
Even before that retirement date, before that 60 or 35
Some people
years,
will even say,
like
no, I'm even
January,
tired. Yes.
yeah,
There will be a
take
terminal
what they
leave.
2
call
months,
terminal
2
leave.
yeah,
Just
you
go and
just
rest.
take it
No.
cumulatively, just take it together.
But they are not prepared for that. Now there are people who are now protesting that no, this should not happen, this should not happen.
Yeah,
because in doing that, you have also stunted the growth of some other people.
They are having the same problem in Nigerian military now, as in the service chiefs. And a lot of, you understand this thing I'm talking
course,
about? A lot of all these causes behind, they cannot do anything
Yes.
again.
It's not just the military. I mean, across Nigeria, you have people who are approaching either retirement age or the end of their tenure in a particular office. Maybe you're supposed to do 5 years or 10 years. You've done both your 10 years. You're looking for a way to just perpetuate yourself, keep yourself in office. And this is a continuous process in many different areas. And I don't know why we have that kind of mentality where it is, once you get to an office, you feel that this office now personally belongs to you, or that it is not possible for you to be able to do anything
people don't
else.
want, like being
As
promoted.
if no one else can do it.
But actually, some people don't even like being promoted.
Yes.
If they're in no particular
if
strategic
they are making money there,
position, yes.
they will
stunt their
lobby,
promotion.
They will lobby against being promoted. I've seen people lobby against progress. It is only in Nigeria.
Once you're in that position, that level, you don't want
Because
to leave
the
that office.
cadeaux that come with that seat, they value it more than promotion. They value it more than promotion.
It's a strange thing happening down there. So people, they call on the SGF people in charge of the National Assembly Commission and them.
No, they have to stop
head
the
of service, they
implementation.
have to
If we are a country
stop this
governed by
implementation
laws,
and decency.
the National Assembly itself is a product of the law. The National Assembly Service Commission is a product of the law. They have no right to do anything that is against our laws.
People
So
have the
they
right
have no right to
aspire
implement.
to that position.
Yeah,
as
you
the
don't
clerk
want
of
to
the
leave.
house. Some people are in that position, and it's their legitimate aspiration.
The
They
thing
worked
is, what
all through their life.
they are probably feeling that the president will not give his assent to this. So are you vetoing the president indirectly, or what are you doing?
Or overriding the president.
Or
before his
overriding,
veto.
you are not going to, we want to override his veto even before he shows whether he wants to veto
Or
use his veto or not. I just don't understand.
Just leave that state. Still to come, NLC raises alarm over killings in northern Nigeria as bandits, herdsmen kill more than 100 persons in Sokoto, Katsina and Kaduna in 5 days. We'll be right back after this breather. Stay with us. We're reaching you live from Television Continental in Lagos, Nigeria. While Nigeria continues to battle the COVID-19 pandemic, another disaster rages on in the country's northwest. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, has raised the alarm over killing of defenseless villagers by armed bandits in northern Nigeria. On the 28th of May, bandits attacked many villages in Sokoto, leaving 74 people dead. 3 days later, another set of bandits killed 18 villagers in Katsina State. Just yesterday, suspected herdsmen invaded a community in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, killing 9 persons, mostly women and children. In 5 days, more than 100 persons died from armed banditry. Not even COVID-19 is as deadly. Gentlemen.
Not even Boko Haram kills people the way bandits kill people now. If you get reports from the theater of war, the northeast, Boko Haram, in the last 6 months, 6 to 7 months, I can even say 8 months, bandits have killed far more people than Boko Haram have killed. Far more than Boko Haram have killed. Bandits have killed, so-called bandits and herdsmen. In some parts of Kaduna, Kajuru, and the other places, the pattern of attack is different. So you wonder what really is the mission. Is the mission simply to kick people out of their ancestral homes, slaughter people? Is it Scott health policy that we are witnessing? In places like Tureta in Sokoto, Isa, Sabombrini, Kebe, they are killing people like flies. 74 persons killed in one day in Sokoto State. 74. We've never had things this bad. What are our security agencies doing? People can't move around the way they like. Gudu in Sokoto, they are killing people like flies. Katsina in Faskari, in Basari, they are killing people as if our people have become a kind of sport for bandits. The Air Force was announcing the other day that they killed more than 100 people. Just a couple of days later, we heard that these people slaughtered our people again. How much longer will our people be slaughtered by bandits? Is it that we are now so powerless we can't locate these people? And they stay with us. They stay around us.
Maybe because of the media presence in these states, as in the way it's underreported. It's a big crime. It's no longer like an headline when you see 18 people dead in Kaduna State. No newspaper editor will want to make it the headline because it's like a normal thing every day.
One of the things I'm very happy about
There's a
is the fact
conspiracy
that
of silence, sort of.
on a continuous basis, one of the things I'm happy about is the fact that a program like this continues to put this on the front burner, so that we don't become, our consciences doesn't become seared, such that we don't mind the number of deaths that we're seeing coming from the north. It is very, very bad. And these are human beings like us. Some of the most vulnerable people, including women and children, are being killed. And from one of the stories I read this afternoon, you have armed gunmen entering into communities, numbering about 100 of them on motorcycles, and just shooting indiscriminately.
We are so under-policed that these people will just have a free day.
And for some of the communities, it's amazing. They just go in there to steal cattle. Some, they go and steal grains. And it's amazing why you want to steal grains and abduct women, kidnapping. You want to steal grains and cattle, and you're shooting down 50 to 70 people within a matter of 1 hour. So this is a continuous thing. And I think it's almost like, you know, they said extreme poverty is one of the problems, poor education and other things like that. But even the security infrastructure in that area, monitoring the borders. Now, these are big challenges that we seem not to be able to surmount. Because these people, they come in, they do whatever it is that they want to do within an hour, and then they disappear. We can't find them anywhere. The motorcycles can't be found. We can't track them. It's as if there's no on-the-ground intelligence that can ensure that we have information about these people. This is our own country. This is Nigeria. And it just seems like it's a completely different country from where we live. And I think that is also part of why there's no national outrage about what we're seeing, because it feels like it's cut off from us. It's not a part of us. It's not a part of it. It's almost like hearing about Somalia in the old days, or Eritrea, South Sudan. That's what it feels like, because when you hear of people that are dying, women that are being kidnapped, it's ridiculous. And it's right before our own eyes, within our own borders, in our own country.
Jude, I've forgotten that state that you went to some months back or some years back, and when we saw the topography of the states, how they got before you can access that state.
Katsina.
Now, it was in Katsina.
Katsina, yes.
Now, even if they're under attack, there's no how security agencies can even locate that place or access that place by road.
The road.
And if you see, when you see the road, you will just
no, we are
tears.
ordinarily, you are supposed to spend like 20 minutes, and you are spending 2 hours to get there. The operations are not usually
cut out from civilization.
The operations are not usually long. They do it snappily, and then they are gone. So before you mobilize troops to the area, they are gone. It is unfortunate. You see, the extensive nature of the Rugu forest, for example, in Katsina and some of the states around it, ensures that these guys have a limitless area where they can hide and evade detection by the security agencies. But before they attack a community. And my concern is that they've been going to Basari local government in Katsina, for example. They've been going to Faskari. What have we done to protect? Because these two local governments have been the worst hit in the last few months. What have we done? We know that this attack will come. What have we done to protect these people? They've been going to Kajuru repeatedly. They will attack a community today. You hear that 3 days later, another community not far away, they've gone there to kill people. Can't we protect our people anymore? Is it that we can't mobilize troops to go and put a kind of protective cordon around our people in the areas where we know they are always striking? You go to Rabah, the local government of the late Sardauna Bello. They are always killing people there. In fact, it assaults the memory of the great Sardauna of the great premier of northern Nigeria. That his local government is one of the areas where bandits are running riot, and we can't stop it.
Okay, joining us now is Jonathan Ashake, president of Southern Kaduna's People's Union. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Yes, what is happening in Southern Kaduna?
Well, it's a continuation of the massacres in communities in the southern part of Kaduna State.
What do you mean by massacre?
Particularly now in Kajuru local government. Even today, a community called Tudu Doka was attacked around 5 a.m. and 9 people were killed. In fact, they have just been buried. We're just coming from the mass burial of those people, and so several of them are wounded.
5 a.m. this morning?
Yes, about 5 a.m. this morning. The same attackers that they prefer to call herdsmen, but we know they are, they prefer to call unknown gunmen, but we know they are herdsmen. And they went into the community and attacked the community, killed 9 people, and wounded several, and burned the community. And in fact, it has been continuous. Remember, the first attack took place on the 12th of May in a town called Warogo in Kajuru local government, where 19 people were killed. And the next day, the attack continued all the way till Wednesday in Makeli and Ngwarana and other surrounding communities where 27 people were killed. But from the 18th to the 24th of May, several communities, over 15 communities around Kalla and Remau, were sacked completely. In fact, where many people were killed, and the natives could not go in and recover the dead bodies.
Now, do you have any form of security presence?
Go in and recover the dead bodies, and the security has not even gone there.
Jonathan, do you have
recover the dead bodies? Not to talk of returning them back to their land. So they are now scattered all over, especially in Kaduna suburbs. Just today, in fact, my team, that is Southern Kaduna People's Union, we have gone around the camps in around Kaduna, and we have seen them. Most of them are actually having food shortages, so we have just been distributing food material, food items to them. And in fact, the refugees, they are about 50,000 now that have been sacked from their communities.
Have you in any way reached out to the state government? Are they aware about your predicament?
The state government, I'm very sorry to say, up till now, the governor has not said anything about what the killings, the massacre that is going on in these communities. Up till now, in fact, where we're coming from, where the burial, the mass burial of today's massacre took place, the police are not there. The state government is not there until they buried those people, mass burial, up till now.
Thank you, Mr. Jonathan Ashake, President of the Southern Kaduna People's Union. What do you make of this, gentlemen? This is serious.
It's an anomaly. It's a very sad situation. I grew up in Kaduna State. I spent almost 20 years there. And some of my best friends growing up, even up until now, are from Southern Kaduna. Some of my very closest friends, some of them live in Lagos, some live in Abuja. And, you know, this really, really strikes home for me because these are when they're going home for Christmas and all of that, we know. And growing up, even up until the early 90s into 1995, we were not hearing stories like this. We were not. These are some of the most peaceful people, peace-loving people. Of course, a lot of them predominantly are Christians, and they're peace-loving. We never had such issues growing up. So I don't know where these people are coming from. I don't know why this is what's occurring now, and why it seems like the response that is required is not being done. Lots of people are now speaking up, and I'm seeing in the pages of the newspapers that it's becoming a genocide. We don't want it to get to a genocide where there's mass killings of people, but now that's what it's looking
pictures like. And some of the people killed were just kids under 10 years. I've seen pictures. It's so burning to look at pictures of dead kids. What is their crime? If their parents had offended you, if that was the case, what is the crime of those little ones? That you just slaughter them. So something has to be done. We can't continue to hemorrhage deaths in northern Nigeria the way we are seeing it. You know? So something has to be done. And if the security agencies cannot protect us as a people, the president has to take action. That's how it's done everywhere else. If they can't protect the people, you have to tell them to their faces that you failed. You failed. I brought you in to help me to protect the people. If they can't protect, then summon the courage to tell them that they failed and take the necessary action.
All right, we'll take this break. When we'll come back, we'll talk more. Still Journalists Hangout. Welcome back. On Journalists Hangout this week, we have a special report on the predicament of traffic wardens, popularly known as yellow fever, an arm of the Nigerian police force. Most of the traffic wardens complain of marginalization and poor welfare by the police hierarchy. Let's share the story with you.
Traffic wardens plying their trade with glee, dancing sometimes to the rhythmic movements of the traffic. At other times, the dance is inspired by the music coming from their mobile device or another device within their vicinity. In Nigeria, traffic wardens sometimes take the dancing traffic control to a whole new level. From breakdance to calypso, these operatives of the Nigeria Police Force have gained some proficiency in various genres. A few, including Omar Abubakar and Sebel Audu, have warmed their way into the hearts of road users. The skills they bring to bear have also won them accolades. In spite of the merits, the reputation of the traffic warden service has in several instances been tainted with corruption and high-handedness.
And at the state level.
But the worst for the service arguably has been that the wardens feel marginalized by the police hierarchy.
You have no say. When you talk, they will tell you, no, you are just a traffic warden, common traffic warden, and which they always call us yellow fever.
Augustine Joseph and Peter Ilum are retired traffic wardens.
I was enlisted in the traffic warden in 1970, the first 12, 1976. I retired as AST, that is Assistant Superintendent of Traffic Warden.
I was retired 11 June 2017 because I was recruited 11 June 19.
In their heydays, they championed a cause for self-actualization for the traffic warden service.
The way police maltreated traffic warden subjected us to nothing in our own land. If you join traffic warden, you count yourself as nobody in this country. Nobody regard you. Police have already dequalified you and block your way.
In fact, there was a certain time they set a committee, which I was one of the members. We sat at Police Service Commission at Secretariat. I was the AC, myself, and the members of Police Service Commission. We made an opinion. Everybody gave his opinion, which I personally said, if this discrimination will still continue, I'm suggesting traffic wardens should be autonomous. If they cannot make them autonomous, they should merge them with road safety.
According to the Nigerian Police Act, the traffic warden service is part of the police force, but their roles are limited to the control and regulation of or the enforcement of the law relating to road traffic.
They're not policemen, they are traffic warden officers.
The reason why we join them, they say traffic wardens are part and parcel of police. But now they say traffic wardens are not police. And we are not giving autonomy to be on our own.
Notwithstanding the law, the wardens want to be accorded the same rights and privileges as their colleagues in the regular uniform.
They pay police, medical. Traffic wardens are not entitled to medical. Hazard, which we are on the road conducting this different type of nonsense, they say we are not entitled. Uniform allowance, they pay all uniform men uniform allowance, but traffic wardens are not entitled for uniform allowance.
So the rank structure is different from that of the Nigerian police force. Of course, the emolument will be different because they have different, their functions are different and they are exposed to different level of risk.
The Senate in May 2019 passed the Traffic Warden Service Bill 2019, which seeks autonomy for the service. But the bill is yet to be signed into law.
I passed through Maryland 2 weeks ago. I saw that woman in the midst of a very, very hot day. She was still dancing. She was, I don't know what is the source of her inspiration, but she looked so happy and she was controlling that traffic. And I spent like 15 minutes on that traffic and she danced all through and she seemed genuinely happy. What she's doing.
They're happy with what
so why don't we reward people like this?
I also think that the police leadership wants to be taken seriously. Even the way they dress.
They should be integrated.
The way they dress should be changed. They are like the face of the police on our roads.
Yes.
So they can't dress shabbily. They can't be wearing tattered uniform.
They refer to them as yellow fever.
Faded uniform, and then it will reflect badly on the police when people see them dressed in that way.
Oui.
You know. So they need to do something better in terms of their welfare. When they said they are not policemen, I'm surprised because they go through it is the police college. They go to police college. Yes, at the police college they are told that you'll be traffic warden, but they are policemen all the same. They effect arrest. Just like police. The only thing is, okay, they are not like regular policemen in terms of even the length of the time that they work and all that. You know, for most of them by 6 o'clock they close for the day. But they are policemen and they deserve to be better treated. I would want to see a situation in which this dichotomy in the police, whereby those of them in medicals, in works, veterinary, all those ones who handle dogs, what's it called? They call them mounted troops, whereby they too can become even the IG. Because for some of these people that I'm talking about, they can't go beyond AIG. And for these people, the traffic wardens, they can't go beyond chief traffic officer of the state.
So they can't become deputy commissioner of police, assistant commissioner of police?
The highest they can get to is probably SP.
That's the superintendent of police.
Yes. Or DSP. you know, DSP. I don't think they can go beyond that.
It's quite interesting. I mean, I think we should just adopt probably what some other countries have done, which is, for instance, in Scotland, what they did was that they even phased out the traffic warden service and absorbed everybody into the full police force. And in some other countries, probably like the US, you have a rotational system where, as a younger police officer, you work as a traffic warden, and then you then do other kind of detective work and all that, because you've been trained at the academy, so you should be able to then do different things. Exactly. So once you have a rotational system, then there's not even a need for a Nigerian traffic warden service. What you just need is a police force where everybody gets to do traffic work at some point in their career.
Yes.
So I think that's probably
they lack manpower. The required manpower, they lack it. In a state like Lagos, it was because of these people that the administration of Bola Tinubu actually established last month to come and complement.
Because we just didn't have enough. They didn't have enough, and now people were suffering in traffic. So they had to come with last man.
Most states now,
have done that.
They've adopted it.
When you go to Kano, you have what they call Karota.
Okay.
So they are the ones who manage traffic. Yes, they are staff of the state government. They are the ones who manage traffic.
We call on the Inspector General of Police,
that
Police Service
finally,
Commission.
If the welfare of the entire force has to be taken care of, so that people don't. It's not just the traffic wardens alone that have this problem. The entire police force, we have to do something about their welfare. A situation in which someone who is confirmed superintendent of police, who had worked for 3 years, is earning just about 180,000 and is putting his life at risk. 180,000 that some people spend in one day. It does not all go well, and they buy their own uniform. Policemen should not be buying their own uniform. Policemen should not be buying their own bullets. I can confirm today that in Nigeria, sometimes policemen buy bullets by themselves.
That is wrong.
All of these things should stop.
That is wrong. That's wrong. Yomi Owope, thank you so much for your contribution.
Thank you, sir.
BKO, thank you so much. We'll be doing it again tomorrow, and that's our offering. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You know what, Journalists Hangout on our platform showing on the screen. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalists Hangout at tvcnews.tv.